Hello, it's good to see everybody today. I have Miss Nikki Upchurch with me today. She is all the way in Monument, and I'm so grateful that she's able to join us. She has an integrative wellness center, and I'm excited because we are working together on some exciting options. And I have just been so honored because Nikki has is a wealth of knowledge and has taught me so much. And so, Nikki, do you mind just introducing yourself? And I was wondering if you could tell us kind of how you got involved in this integrative wellness practice.
Okay, Amy, thank you for the privilege of being with you today. And I am so thankful that our paths have crossed because I'm so happy to double team alongside you with your expertise and see how we can help people with their health. I know that's a passion of both of ours. And yes, I would love to share a little bit about the journey of how I got involved in integrative wellness. I actually, when I was in college at University of North Texas, was a pre-med major student until I got into pharmacology. Once I hit the class of pharmacology, I realized there was nothing happening with the medicines getting to the root cause of a lot of the blood pressure medicines and various things that people could live the lifestyle that they wanted and not even steward or care for their bodies. And so it was then that I began to transition into sports medicine and naturopathic focus. So I started working with Dr. Kenneth Cooper in the Dallas area, working with nutrition and exercise and integrative wellness. It was in my own journey many years later after graduating from college and following that naturopathic background that I faced a huge challenge, and that was with a particular tick-borne illness that nothing I did seemed to help me get well. And that was in and out of hospitals, tens of thousands of dollars, doctor after doctor, trying all these antibiotics, conventional means. And I am so thankful for conventional means when we have them and need them. But I knew I needed something to get to the root cause. Nothing was helping me identify that root cause. I met a practitioner and his wife in the Dallas Fort Worth area, and he used the kind of technology that you and I have access to now, Amy. And that was a quantum science machine using electrodermal screening and bioscans. What he did is after about 30 minutes of testing me on different meridians of the energetic pathways, he was able to identify, and I'd love to share this with you because this is the information that you and I are receiving now and able to help other people with. He was able to say there's active tick-borne illness in the cerebral spinal fluid, entered C2 vertebrae 5 years ago, giving you these symptoms with your heart, these with your liver, these with your kidneys. By the way, did you have a pet bird when you were age 11? It was then in your life that you contracted Newcastle disease virus that's weakened your immune system. I was completely blown away because, yes, I had pulled the tick off C2 vertebrae and had Jasper the parakeet from age 10 to 21. So
Oh,
that is what sent me into integrative wellness and trying to help people with their health.
wow. Okay, that is incredible that he could tell you all that information. So, so what are so I noticed that your practice is called Brook House Research and Wellness. Is there something significant with that name?
Yes, very significant. So the journey of the tick-borne illness that I shared with you that debilitated me. I had been a triathlete. I had been working in corporate health for a while. Um, I then spent a total of 10 years overcoming that illness, and it was quite the journey, which led me to a doctor in the Netherlands, an MD in the Netherlands with decades of research and caring for his patients, both conventionally and integratively. His name is Dr. Brook House.
Okay,
So
that's a
my
mouthful.
American, yeah, my American or English translation of that to honor him is Brook House. So we call the practice Brook House Research and Wellness. Dr. Bruckheiser used a number of different supplements that helped me get well after 10 years. And those supplements were non drug, non toxic, and they worked on the biological terrain of the body to either help the organs and systems raise their voltage and balance so that the body could heal itself, or they were disharmonic with the disruptors, aka the pathogen that I was fighting, and it weakened that pathogen by shifting the biological terrain and helping my body heal itself.
Oh, wow, that's incredible. And how soon did you see results?
After 10 years of fighting to overcome this, within about 6 or 7 weeks, I was on my way strongly to wellness, and the pathogen was gone. And I just began strengthening the body from there in the way of supporting the endocrine system and getting my muscular strength back, my brain back. At that time, I couldn't even remember my middle name. I would get lost coming home from the post office, which was a half mile or less away. It was
Scary.
really a struggle, yes, but I was able to restore my brain function, my endocrine function, my strength. Haven't done triathlons again since, but we do trail runnings. This is actually Brooke, our dog.
Oh,
Brookie,
Brooke,
this
such
is
a sweet
Brooke.
dog and so well behaved. That dog is so well behaved. You trained her well.
You. Well, we have done quite a bit of training with service dogs, and that's part of this facility. I wanted to be able to keep that up if need be, too. So, anyway, that's Brook House, and it's funny that we received Brooke after the name of the business was already established. She was transferred to me from Houston as her trainer for wheelchair service.
Oh my goodness, that's incredible. That's why she's just amazing. So, one of the things that I was really impressed is that you have designed your own facility and you kindly let me do a homeopathy class there not long ago. Tell me a little bit about your facility and how you designed it to help heal others and just even to be just a respite.
Thank you, Amy. I appreciate your appreciation of this place. I've certainly put my heart and soul into it. I designed this place 6 years ago on graph paper. Each little square was equal to a foot. And my dream was to be able to have this room right here as an event venue to be able to help people with their health and celebrations of life like bridal showers, baby showers. We've had wedding receptions. We've hosted many health seminars here. We have Bible studies here on Thursday nights for young adults. And we've just had parties here, graduation parties, and just celebrations of life. We've got 2 Airbnb rooms in the end of the house, and that is for people to come and restore their health if they want to or have family time. They each have a mineral soak so that people can come and sit in the mineral and ozone soak and overlook the mountains in the back. We've got a running trail that's equal to a half mile on the 5 acres. So the facility actually has a clinic for our integrative wellness that people can pull up with 0 curbs. So the bathroom is also designed to be wheelchair accessible. And we've got 4 rooms that people can come and stay in and have their own kitchenettes and private baths and parking right up to their door. So that's part of the dream is beauty from ashes because it's built on the burn scar from the Black Forest fire 11 years ago.
Remember that fire? That was awful. That was really awful. Okay. And did you want to tell us a little bit about your hot tubs?
Sure. Those were actually donated to us from a gentleman in his 80s who saw the vision and the mission of my wanting to help people recover from various degenerative conditions or um, illnesses that were caused by pathogens or parasites. And these have no chemicals. They are purified through an ozone filter. We can put in them bentonite clay in the outdoor soak tub up to 104 degrees so that it will draw 40 times its weight in toxins and pull those out of the body, whether they be heavy metals or various toxins. We can also do peroxide baths in the soak tub outside. And the one indoors, I wanted that one to be able to infuse minerals into the body so that people can just sit in that soak tub with enjoying the heat and the ozone and just pull in these angstrom minerals.
That's incredible. Okay, so what are some of the tools that you offer to help people with their health?
Thank you. We have a number of things that we offer to try to help people with their holistic health because we are body, soul, and spirit. So we do some work with trauma clearing using different resonance and even oils to get to even the epigenetic level of that trauma clearing. Um, we also have my background in health and wellness and exercise physiology. So I love to help people with nutrition and exercise. I do blood flow restriction bands, and that is something I've studied and have become certified in to help people with that arterial flow into their extremities, activating lactic acid into their body, which stimulates in the brain a release of growth hormone and stem cells. And that helps connective tissue, it helps the brain, it helps the arteries. So that's something we offer. One of the things that you and I are partnering in that I know we are very excited about, I actually researched this and prayed to find it for 18 years. And that is a quantum science unit that can actually do bioscans. And that is what we've been able to find. This bioscan does a similar thing to what I explained in the introduction that I experienced 25 years ago when the gentleman, the practitioner, found the cerebral spinal fluid, the bird 11 years prior, all of those different disruptors, I will call them. So what this bioscan does, and this is where it's been exciting because when people can't find the answer to the root cause anywhere else, tried all this number of different things, we are able to identify that root cause. And I'll give you some examples in a moment. But there are 4 different aspects of this lab that I'm very excited about. And we can work with people in person or we can work with people with tissue samples. Very simple to take hair, nails, various tissue samples and run different resonance through that to identify, number one, the disruptors. Are they parasites? Are they pathogens? Are they toxins? Could it be heavy metals? What are the disruptors in the body? That's number one. Number 2, what organs and systems are being affected by various disruptors? That has been just so important in trying to find out why different organs and systems may not be functioning optimally because there's stressors on them. Number 3, what are the depletions in the body? Are they low in a particular amino acid? Are they deficient in a particular nutrient, perhaps zinc, or do they not have enough stomach acid? What is going on in the deficiencies of the body? Number 4, we have a bank of supplements from all over the world that we run the tissue sample resonance through, and we find out specifically for that individual what are the supplements that would be recommended for the body to heal and balance itself. On top of that cluster of information, we get a summary and the recommendations, and included in the price of the lab analysis, the people will receive 4 different tailor-made for their body homeopathic drops or remedies that they are to take sublingually twice a day for an assigned period of time. What those homeopathics will include are, as I mentioned in the beginning, just like with Dr. Brook House's protocol, non-drug, non-toxic, working on the biological terrain, either to try to increase the voltage and balance of different organs and systems, or number two, to be disharmonic with the disruptors so that those disruptors are weakened and flushed out of the body. There's another supplement that goes with those tailor-made homeopathics, and that is either a binder or an organ filter or a lymphatic drainage. We've got to have something to flush those toxins out of the body. And we also test the tissue samples to see what the best supplement for that would be.
Wow. I'm madly writing here. Okay, wonderful. So you're looking at the four different areas, and then they usually get four different homeopathic bottles to take. And I know I have done the testing, and I was just so impressed with how specific it was. Not only did it come up with all the areas, like every tooth that I had an issue with, every spinal column that there was an area, vertebrae, different issues in lungs or whatever. It was so very specific, but then it gives you something that can help bring your body back into balance. And it lists, kind of some what a lot of those are. So it can be various homeopathic as well as even like SAR codes, things that are taken um, from a healthy organ to help bring it back into balance, which is amazing. So I was just really impressed.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. And I'm glad that you mentioned that because with your expertise in homeopathy, you were able to identify some very important factors that helped me understand on a deeper level from your perspective. There were different dilutions and frequencies, if you will. You'll be able to speak to that more specifically than I. But there were different dilutions that you could look at and go, that is very physical in the body right now, or that was actually an inherited miasm, or that is something that was maybe just passed down and carried in the genes. And we want to clear that energetic frequency or energy from the body so the body's deburdened and can heal itself. But you were able to understand those and identify what was physical versus what was inherited.
Oh, yeah, it was wonderful. So one thing I wanted to ask you, and I know that you, besides your own story, you've been able to help quite a few people that had very serious conditions. Can you give us some examples?
I do have one that stands out in my mind right now, and I was very humbled to be able to come alongside this couple and help this gentleman who was 40 years old, and he had been struggling to overcome a similar illness to the one that I described to you, the tick-borne illness, for 20 years. He had also begun having seizures. And one thing that this bioscan was able to identify was that there was a very specific parasite in the brain that was causing the seizures. It was humbling for me to share that information because the credibility factor was, sir, this parasite is only found in Africa, and you're waiting to see, oh my goodness,
Right.
this is so far fetched. He goes, I was there 2 years ago. And that a year and a half ago is when the seizures began. So
Wow.
his wife says he's normal now. And not only that, the seizures have stopped and they are so happy. So that was one that was incredibly rewarding to be able to be a part of coming alongside them as a wellness coach and guiding them through the protocol recommendations and to see the path that they wanted to follow and then to have such wonderful results.
It's
So
amazing. Do you do you have any other stories you want to share with us?
I do. I have a very dear friend for 8.5 years. We had been struggling with a life threatening situation for her that originated in the bone marrow. Little by little by little, we've been working for 4 months now, And we've been able to find, ooh, there was a heavy metal at the root of this issue through the bioscan. We were able to clear that. And then we cleared the next level because we identify if there are heavy metals and if there is a particular like yeast overgrowth. Oftentimes you've got to clear the heavy metal before you can go to the yeast overgrowth, before you can then go to the pathogen. So we put all this jigsaw together and figure out what order to do things in so we can clear layers of the terrain. This sweet friend was able to walk in this barn dominium a few weeks ago and say that after 8.5 years, not taking all the credit by any means, but just privileged to be a piece of that conduit that was able to help her identify the things to clear from her biological terrain. Her doctor said, this test is normal. Your blood test is normal. Your bone marrow is normal. She walked out with tears of joy, came here and said, for the first time in 8.5 years, all of her tests are normal. The body knows how to balance itself if we can clear the disruptors, if we can support it in the things that it needs, and allow the body to function as it's designed. So I
That
just
is
thank God for that.
that's so beautiful. I'm sure that brings you so much joy.
I cried quite a bit, tears of joy this time instead of tears of, oh, how are we going to get through this challenge? So, yes,
Right,
that was a
right.
time of rejoicing for sure.
Wonderful. I was wondering if you could explain a little bit about how the testing is done. I'm one, I don't like a lot of blood tests or anything invasive. How invasive is this test?
Ooh, good question. So, what we do, as I mentioned, we can test in person. It's actually more time efficient for the person instead of just testing while they're sitting there for an hour and a half, is to take a tissue sample. As I mentioned, we can take a sample of hair and we can take some nails and that keratin and the tissue itself carries a resonance of all the things that we need to test. So the person would give us that sample. I mail it to the lab, and within about 2 weeks, we have a comprehensive report. If that person is on any pharmaceuticals, it's important for me to write that on the tissue sample bag that I send in. I write their birthday, their pharmaceuticals that they're taking, because sometimes we need to make those neutral in order to be able to get to the body's own voltage.
Right.
And then we also want to not only do a full body analysis, but ask the person, is there anything specifically that you really want checked out in your body? For the gentleman, headaches and seizures that we talked about, right? So he put on their headaches and seizures and joint pain and fatigue. So, what are the root causes of those various things? Let's get to the bottom of what your heart's desire is to be able to get some validation or some answers for the things that you've been struggling with that have been so vague and elusive in trying to get to the root cause. The comprehensive report, we give the summary and we give all of the supplements that are recommended. We typically use full script, which is wholesale for kind of a practitioner's pharmacy website, if you will. And we're able to get some really good prices for our guests and clients that are trying to get well as we come alongside them and encourage them on the best supplements for them because their tissue samples have chosen each of those supplements based upon their personal needs.
Okay, wonderful. And are you able to talk a little bit about the lab you work with?
Yes. The lab, excitingly, we have got the balance of working with a trauma care nurse who has decades of experience in conventional medicine, but who has also had a passion for holistic and integrative wellness. She has a naturopathic degree in addition to her trauma care nursing. She has a profound ability to take all these different puzzle pieces and put them together. For example, one person that we were working with to try to find answers for was dealing with a lot of low moods and anxiety. We were able to identify holistically in this that there was very low stomach acid being produced. The stomach acid lack of was not allowing proteins to be broken down adequately, which caused a deficiency in tryptophan. Tryptophan goes into this chain link of cascading different steps to produce serotonin. So the tryptophan and the 5-HTP into the serotonin. But what she was able to identify too was holistically, this bioscan will identify some of the emotional root causes. There was bitterness and unforgiveness that this person was struggling with, and no fault, nothing, no condemnation, because there are injustices in people's lives that can cause these various things. But we were able to also work with Bach flowers in the resonance of the homeopathics to help the limbic system of the brain actually process to help the person free themselves for forgiveness and supplement the stomach acid at the same time as they were working on the emotional root and supplement the body with the tryptophan and 5-HTP so that there was adequate serotonin produced. We
Okay.
also have other supplements that will work on neurotransmitter balance, vagus nerve calibration. So we're really trying to get to the root cause, taking as few supplements as needed and getting to the root instead of just throwing supplements at the deficiencies. We want to get to the root so the body can heal itself.
Love that. That is just gorgeous. Okay. That and Nikki, you are just so brilliant with all this. Is there anything else you want to explain before we close?
Just the passion of helping people get their lives back and my experience of having struggled for 10 years to get well and know what it's like to go from triathlete and corporate wellness and then to go into a life of in hospitals and in bed and just losing it all, losing your capacity to function and then finding a way to body, soul, and spirit help people to get well. And that is your and my desire, I know, because we can't separate the integrativeness of those three components of who every individual is. I'm so thankful to have found this tool. It is cost effective, it is non invasive, non drug, non toxic, and we allow the people to be a part of their own healing because they can choose based upon the tools. Once we find the recommendations, they can choose the path for their wellness, and we just come alongside them and help them. And I find that very rewarding, especially knowing that after spending tens and thousands of dollars in the hospital, and we don't have to do that. We can keep it as cost effective, strategic, intentional, and simple as possible and do what we're passionate about, and that is help people get their lives back.
Oh, and I love that. And that's why I think we just connected right away. I think we just both have that passion of being able to, when we see somebody suffering and we know there's a way to help them through that, it just makes such a huge difference.
I agree, friend. Thank you. And I'm privileged to partner with you. Thank you.
Thank you. It's such an honor to get to know you. And I thank you so much for taking your time. I know you're very busy and just your knowledge and sharing this information with us is incredible. And I'll put the information on how to get in contact down below this video.
Thank you, Amy. And it is a privilege. As you and I both know, we just want to share with people and get the word out and help people get well. So thank you for
Absolutely.
this opportunity today to work together.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You as well. Blessings all.
Bye-bye.